So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. You guys know that when we cover stories here and there's a new update, especially when it's substantial, I always like to come back here and give it to you. So if you're new here, you're seeing my face for the first time, or if you've been watching, sneaking around like serpents and watching without subscribing, come on now, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, begin to drop a thumbs up. Once you comment, you know what to do, you click the like button, drop your comments on these very crucial topics that we're going to address today, and stay glued for we have so much more coming your way. Let's dive right into it. So first, let's talk about this chap here, Timileyin Ajayi, the gospel singer who took the life of his girlfriend or love interest. There were several versions of what she was to him, but who took her life, the life of Salomi, sometime earlier this year. Timileyin was apprehended on his way to, we don't know whether to dispose the head of Salomi or to deliver it somewhere, but he was caught with a polythene bag, and flies were perching and surrounding him, attracted the curiosity of passerbys. They stopped him, searched him, and lo and behold, they found Salomi's parts with him. So he was apprehended. We covered that story here on the channel, and today we have updates. After Timi was apprehended by members of the public and security operatives were called in, they took him to his house where they found several dismembered, butchered parts of Salomi in a big polythene bag. So he was arrested. He gave a confessionary statement where he admitted to taking the life of Salomi, and he was charged to court. He was charged with the offense of culpable homicide, punishable by death under section 221 of the penal code. I'm quite pleased. I must commend that the trial was speedy. This incident happened around February this year, and by September we already had judgments. That's speedy, come Nigerian standard. And despite Timileyin sounding incoherent at some point, like putting up a show, a dramatic art to pass the impression of insanity, despite he was clutching to a Bible every day during court sessions, the judge was not fazed by his shows. The High Court, sitting in Lafia, Nasarawa State, refused his plea of not guilty. And despite he claimed that he was unconscious when he wrote the confessionary statement, the judge still found his defense not credible. He has now been sentenced to die by hanging. As I always say, there is no amount of justice or judgment that can bring back a life that has been lost. But I just hope that the family seeks some solace, some relief, knowing that the person who caused the death of their child has also been convicted to die. Let us get our thoughts down in the comment section. Next, I would love to give some updates on this gentleman here. Well, clearly not so gentle of a man. Of this man here. Many of us came across the story of this man who beat his wife, his nursing wife, to unconsciousness only a few weeks after she put to bed. Some news sites even quote it as a few days after she had his baby, and was in the presence of her mother, his mother-in-law that came for Omugo, that came to look after the baby. This story made it out to social media when men of the police force marched to his apartment to get him arrested. Let's see how that played out.
Come on, video. Video. I see baby. These are the baby. I got him. Okay. What happened? They beat you. Don't worry. He beat you. About video, whether the man don't beat her inside. Your brother beat you inside. You don't beat her. They don't touch you anything. They get panic attack. They get panic attack. Your brother beat you inside. Video that well. I tell us inside. Oh, it's on call for you.
Why you do this kind of thing?
Hold this baby.
Why you do
this one? Why you go do this? Where you go do this? Where is the mother?
I want to go meet her at the hospital.
Where is the mother?
I want to go meet her at the hospital.
What happened to the mother? What happened to the mother?
We actually had the issue.
Huh?
We had the issue.
He too.
We had the issue.
When this video went viral, the Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency swung into action, and they have given us an update. Let us listen. It said, updates. Further to our previous communication regarding the case of a woman who was allegedly beaten by her husband and left in critical condition just days after childbirth, not even weeks, so just days. We would like to inform the public that the alleged perpetrator was arraigned on Monday, August the 4th, 2025, before Magistrate Mobolaji Tanimola of the Lagos State Magistrates Court, sitting in Ogba. The individual was arraigned on a 2-count charge, bordering on assault, occasioning harm, and conduct likely to cause a breach of peace, contrary to Section 170 and 168D of the Criminal Law of Lagos State, 2015. The case has been adjourned and the alleged perpetrator remanded in custody as the legal process continues. You know, when I watched that video of where the policemen came to pick this man up, some people justify violence, like beating your spouse, or should I say they excuse it by saying, I lost my temper, I couldn't control my temper, she did this. But when I saw that man, how humble he was, as his fellow man was blessing his cheeks with high fives, and he stood there humble, it just added weight and gave flesh to what I've always said, that this has nothing to do with I lost my temper. It has everything to do with decision. You made a choice. That's just it. Because if it is a temper issue, that man that was standing there watching his fellow man slap him and baptize his face with slaps, he would have lost his temper. If it's something that you have no control over, it can be lost at any time. If you see a really hot-tempered person, those kind of people can even fight soldiers. They do not think far of the consequences of their action. They are so irrational, they are so erratic, they explode at anyone and everyone, even at the workplace, everywhere they go to, they are bad-natured. Let me put it like that. But if a man, this man in question, can exercise restraint, as a fellow man slapped the hell out of him in his own house, he didn't fight back, he didn't attack back. It shows that he is just a coward and a bully that's launched at his wife because he knew and he knows that he is stronger and he can overpower her. It's not a matter of I lost my temper, I couldn't control it. You can control it. If you look at that video again, you will see that the mother-in-law had the newborn baby, a few days old, on her arm, rocking the baby, and had another small baby on her back. I'm not sure that second baby, I can't even tell whether that baby is up to 2 years. So this woman in question now that has been knocked out to unconsciousness has 2 kids under 2. She just bore babies for this man. And his thank you, his gratitude is to beat her and keep beating her to the extent that she lost consciousness and she's now in intensive care. Did I say she's in coma? She is not conscious. And this just begs the question, if some men actually understand what childbirth is about. Because the truth is that no matter how good, no matter how close a man is to a pregnant woman, no matter how many children a man has, can a man really understand, as much as the person that wears these shoes, what childbirth really is? And just because it happens often, oh, Mama Bomboy has given birth, Mama Nkechi had done born, this one done born, just because it's a common occurrence, it has become trivialized, commonized. The depth and the weight of it has become normalized. But I want to remind us today that childbirth is like the ultimate sacrifice, is a journey of life and death. And any woman who undergoes pregnancy and gives birth to a child could have died. Many women actually die in the process. Many of us get hypertension, diabetes, hemorrhoids, heartburn, organ failure, hair loss, anemia, sagged skin. Some of us gain so much weight that it chips at our confidence for the rest of our lives. Some of us get so overwhelmed with depression, postpartum depression, that we attempt suicide. For some, it's placenta previa. Some bleed to death. For some, our private parts, the vagina, gets torn and stitched. For some, it's infection, permanent back pain. Some of us go blind. Some have complications from cesarean section. There's blood clots, unbearable stretch marks. The list is endless. How can a woman go through this for you to continue your legacy, to imprint and mark your name on the earth even long after you have gone? And then you pay her by pummeling her to unconsciousness. I mean, the men that beat their wives, men that keep hitting their wives and hitting them, and you're seeing that the woman is losing consciousness, she's bleeding, her tooth is being broken, her face is getting damaged, and you keep going at her. I thought, is it witchcraft? How do you do that? What amount of hate can make you do that to someone that you swore to protect and love? Sometimes I come across on social media where women are highlighting their challenges in having children and all they go through to give a man a child, and you hear some boys, not men because men understand, you hear some little boys saying, after all, is he only his child? It's not her child too. She did it for herself too. Okay, yes, that's your point. But if you want to tell yourself the bosom truth, whose name does that child carry? Whose tribe is that child? Where is that child from? Whose legacy does that child continue? Where will that child be laid to rest? In our African society, who really owns that child? It's so unfortunate that things like this are still happening in our society. And I really want to commend the police for swiftly swinging into action to make this arrest. And in addition, for the healthy doses of 5 fingers that were administered to the cheeks of this man. If more policemen have been taking such actions rather than treating it as a family issue, as a domestic affair, many men who watch their fathers beat their mothers and who are now beating their wives may have learned from the consequences that their fathers would have faced and would have not turned out to be that way. Because the truth is that human beings do not fear actions. Human beings fear repercussions. That's the truth. If there were no consequences of going to a bank and taking money from the vault, anybody would dress up and go to the bank and pick money. Now, who will be working? If there were no consequences of taking cocaine and crossing the airports, and when you cross over, they will give you $1 million, everybody will do it now. So it's not the action that really inhibits humans. It's the consequences. And in a society where there are no consequences, the animalistic tendencies of human beings will reign. And that's why it looks as if some societies are doing better than the others. It's because in some societies, there are consequences for actions, while in some others, it's like a zoo, a free-for-all. You know that if you do this thing, nothing will happen. So why won't I do it when that is the easier thing to do? Consequences for behavior. And I would also like to thank the Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency. Those guys are doing a great job when it comes to protecting women and violence in the home setting. There is no state that is doing it as well and as good as Lagos. They are years ahead of other states. If other states were as active as Lagos State, the incidences of these kinds of things would have reduced drastically in Nigeria. I really do hope that this man will have his day in court and justice will be served. So let us not get tired of talking about these kinds of things. We will talk about it. People that engage in those behaviors, they know themselves, they would feel attacked. But if you are a decent human being, you will not feel attacked when such behaviors are exposed or discussed. You won't feel like it's an agenda. You will recognize it for the wrong that it is, and you would even lend your voice because you would have children, you have daughters. Would you want her to be pummeled into unconsciousness by a man she has children for a few days after coming out of the labor ward? So this is a societal issue that is affecting us or could affect us in the future, and we have to talk about it because these behaviors stem primarily from 2 things: upbringing and socialization. That's just the truth. There may be other factors that could influence it, but these kinds of behaviors, which are very rampant in our society, stem primarily from upbringing and socialization. Look at the upbringing part. Tell me, How many parents, how many fathers and mothers sat their sons and warned them, cautioned them sternly right from childhood that you do not do this. You do not hurt your wife. You do not beat your wife. It is a sin against God. It is a sacrilege. No amount of anger or temper should make you injure your wife or beat her. How many mothers did it? Or is it the fathers that many of them back in the day were also beating their wives? So which mouth are they going to use to teach their sons the right step? Because I personally feel, it's my own personal belief, or it's not a general conviction, that Nigerian men would have made the best spouses, the best husbands in the world, if not these things that we're missing when it comes to upbringing, sexual discipline, and teaching them how to love their wives. Because when it comes to masculinity, provision, care, sacrificing, many of them are very good at that. But these other parts, which many parents failed to imbibe in many of their sons, where many of them now grew up believing that sexual indiscipline is their birthright and women are their property, that they can treat however they want, is their rights. With these two combinations, a marriage with such a person would always be unpleasant. So let us be teaching our sons from a young age. I didn't say we should leave our daughters. No. The teaching is already there with our daughters, right from time. So let us continue teaching our daughters, but this time around, let us now be teaching our sons too. I was listening to this actress, Omoni Obuli's husband, where he was discussing in an interview that even when his sons were little, when he plays with them, they do the whole boxing and beating thing, and they want to do it with their mother, like punch her. He says, not even as a joke, he doesn't tolerate it. He said, no. You do not hit your mother, whether you are joking. You do not hit a lady. You do not hit a woman, whether as a joke or you're serious. He discouraged them right from when they were toddlers till now. All of them have grown up to be gentlemen, sensible human beings.
But you have to behave towards women this way. You have to do this.
So you teach them how to behave towards women?
Towards women. I started from when they were really young. When I mean really young, I'm talking about before 2.
Really?
Yeah. As in, look. Because as a child, you walk up to your mama, they'll come and play with me and they'll hit me and all that. When they turn to my wife and do the same play, I stop them instantly. I said, nope, even during play, don't hit your wife, your woman. Fantastic. It should never even cross your mind.
And that's the fact that you took that as conscious education.
Yeah.
Because that's, like you said, it's an area that
you have to. We don't do it. We don't do that. And then we are riddled with a society that has a rape case that is going higher, and men get to a point where they feel almost entitled to it because
they don't even think there's a problem with it.
Yeah, it's not a problem. And the question is, how do we tell our sons to be the men that we want our daughters to get married to? But we don't train them for that.
So it starts with upbringing. Badly behaved husbands are grown up badly behaved sons. I beg, mommies and daddies, let us do better. Then for the society's part, why I said socialization plays a very huge role in the turnout of things and what we are seeing now when it gets to domestic violence and all of these vices that are being experienced in marriages now. Do not ever joke with or underestimate what socialization can do to the mind of somebody. In the past, society has conditioned a man to believe that the meaner you are to a woman, the more manly you are, the more cool you are, the more in charge you are. And even as far back as when these are our men, we're young boys, maybe say in the university, and maybe they are dating and this clique of friends, you know how they are. And there's this guy among the clique that is always very calm. He doesn't cheat on his girlfriend. He's, very faithful. He's good, takes care of her. They single him out as a Jew man in the group, as a guy that does not know what's up. So what is cool in the team is to be the nonchalant, the bad boy, the boy that jumps up from one lady to the other. This is social conditioning happening. Let me give you another example. When we were young, for example, maybe you had this uncle that was very affectionate towards his wife, very caring, helps her around, helps her in house chores, maybe goes to the market for her, carries her like an egg. How does society describe such a man? How do they see such a man? Do they see him as someone that is doing something nice? Is he encouraged? Is he hailed? No. He is put down as a woman rapper. That's what they are called, woman rapper. boy, and they call him demeaning names, that is social conditioning. So if a young boy wants to toe in that part, he's saying that that's the negative part to toe. So the positive example to that young child now is that useless daddy that jumps up and down, carries babes in the university, comes out and drives off. Now that's the cool dad that society has projected, not that calm daddy that helps his wife, maybe holds her bag or goes to the market for her or is very kind. Well, that's the impression that society gave us as children. It's now that we're adults that we're now seeing that this woman rapper is the husband gozo. This daddy that they are criticizing as if he doesn't have sense, as if his wife is controlling him, as if he's not man enough. That is now husband gozo. We didn't know back then as children because of society's conditioning. So it's almost like the men are not programmed or encouraged to be better, to be good husbands. What is hailed as correct guy, chairman, guy man, is the stupidity. The community penis is the correct guy, while the caring, level-headed man is now the Jew man. This is socialization and the impact that it has on how many of these men turn out to be in their marriages. And that is part of what I'm doing here. What I'm doing here is socialization. You might not even know it. It's rewriting the script. It's changing the norm. It's sensitizing. It's rewiring minds. And we cannot afford to stop. Let us keep talking to ourselves, both as men and as women, to be better, to do better, to abstain from things that wreck the fabric of the family and the society. By appreciating the value of marriage and doing our best, both as men and women, to make it work. Please, if you are like this man here, repent. This is unforgivable, both in the eyes of the law and in the sight of God. And today's video gets as it be. No. Our third story and final story is the story of this young man here, Soyemi Adeshola Adeniyi, who has been allegedly arrested for sleeping with male inmates at a correctional facility where he worked in Indiana, America. Now, having sexual relations with people who he had a fiduciary relationship with is illegal, of course, but that's on the one hand. On the other hand, he is married with children, so he has a wife, and that's another horror. And guess what? This is now becoming rampant, where people that have that are tilted towards one sexuality disguise and get married only to traumatize somebody else's child. Now, we're not here to debate people's sexual preferences or sexual choices or orientation. This is not Bible study. But what is unacceptable is knowing your sexuality, knowing exactly who you are, and then masquerading it and get married to a woman when you have preferences for a man. We're in an era of live your truths. In fact, the way these things are coming out now, it's no longer a shock as it was 30 years ago. I was watching the son of the governor of Anambra State, Soludo's son, where he was doing his thing, and his father even joined him. They were doing it together. Back in the days, the father would have disowned him or, alienated him. But now people are becoming more and more accepting of different sexual orientation and lifestyle choices. So if you are still in the closet, I beg, take this passionate appeal coming from me. Come out of that closet and live your truth, so you don't end up traumatizing somebody's child. Just imagine a woman waking up to realize that her odogu is bending other men, or is he the one getting bent? For goodness sake, that's a lifetime trauma. So I just wanted to seize on Adeshola's case here, because these stories, they are coming in. In fact, somebody wrote me last week discussing this kind of thing, but it's private. It's not up for discussion here. So these kinds of things are happening a lot. I beg. What are we not going to discuss here? See the one that you guys are making us talk now. If you are a certain way, please come out and live your truths. Don't go around getting married to somebody else, having children, and then the woman will now find out that your door swings both ways. I beg. I don't talk finish. So guys, yes, we have come to the end of today's video. If you're new here, you're seeing my face for the first time, or if you've been watching without subscribing, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Give this video a big thumbs up. Drop all your comments, all your thoughts on everything we have discussed today down in the comment section, and stay glued, for we have so much more coming your way. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye. Bye.